Hello everybody and welcome to the Redmen TV and my match reaction after Liverpool beat Sheffield United 3-1 in what should have been a far more comfortable night's work, if I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, but does not matter one jot. 3 points in the bag, back to the top of the Premier League ahead of 8 huge games, ahead of a massive weekend for our rivals. For us, of course, going to Old Trafford, there's so much significance, so much importance, so much magnitude on every single fixture from now on in, and it showed in a way tonight, because there was definitely moments in the game whereby I thought we just looked a little bit, I don't know whether it was nerves, whether it was a bit of complacency, I'm not quite sure, but we were so dominant in so many areas for large parts of it. We just couldn't put them to the sword. We should have made the scoreline far more comfortable than we did. And credit to Sheffield United for their defensive resolution, their spirit, they're getting men behind the ball and all that sort of stuff. But the territory, the balance of play, the possession was all in our favour. Like 83% possession we had at one point. I think it's at half time, and you just think that has to sort of translate into bigger chances, into more goals, but it just wasn't doing. But credit Sheffield United again. They come out fast, and whether they tried to catch us cold, because a lot of teams have done that this season. They nearly hurt us early on. It was a long throw flicked down around the back. Kevin Keller was called upon to make a big old save early doors, but we regrouped after that. A bit of a nervy moment. The corner nearly went in as well straight after, but we managed to sort of regain our composure and actually grow into the game, and it was all Liverpool from there on out. And their keeper looked shaky, so much so that you felt like if you just test him time and time again, he's gonna do something stupid, and he duly obliged when Darwin Nunez, chasing down a bit of a lost cause, really, or the more often than not, the lost cause is very rarely you see this type of goal. Quite bizarre, quite ludicrous, but he literally just tries to get something in the way of what would be a clearance, and it cannons back off like the underside of his left boot, off the studs, and the minute it touches him, you just know it's in. It's just bouncing and bobbling. It's got the pace on it. Nunez is following up again, just in case the keeper does manage to get anywhere near it, and it rolls into the back of the net, and the Reds take a deserved lead, although we hadn't created anything clear-cut at that point. We had been by far the better team. We had all the lion's share possession, all that sort of stuff. So that felt as though that should have been the springboard from which we sort of went for the kill, and we just really took control of the game and put them to the sword, essentially. But we weren't able to do it, and I put it down to, as I mentioned a moment ago, Sheffield United being defensively pretty solid and getting back in shape and shifting with us and all that sort of stuff, and not allowing us the space to play between the lines, and that good side of things from their point of view, and the stuff that Chris Wilder would have expected. They'd have drilled them on all week, of course, but from our point of view, it was just a little bit lax, a little bit complacent. The passing wasn't quite crisp enough, it wasn't accurate enough, it was a little bit wayward at times, it was under hit sometimes, and even the touches in and around the box just weren't quite as neat as perhaps it should have been, and it was a little bit frustrating, I've got to be honest. In terms of individuals, they were all culpable of it, so it's hard to really pinpoint. There's a few efforts from range. I think they did fancy the chances, a bit of a shoot-on-sight policy. Gravenberch, McAllister, Diaz tried the look, and you could understand why, given the fact that the keeper dropped most stuff that went at him, to be honest with you. But the longer the game went on, half-time came and went, no changes. The longer the game went on, you thought, the more we don't put this to bed, and the more we don't get that second goal to really kill off any hope of Sheffield United fighting a comeback or getting a revival, the more you start to fear it only takes a moment, it just takes a mistake, a bit of good fortune on their behalf, something, and it came. Joe Gomez is a little bit weak for me in letting his man get past him. Cross comes to near post, headed back across goal, and Connor Bradley is the unfortunate man that it just hits. He throws out his right leg a tiny bit, but really just cannons off him. Goes between Keith Keller's legs, and it's 1-1, and that's the sucker punch that fear, really. You are constantly thinking, while the margin of the deficit is only 1-0, you're thinking it just takes something, a bit of quality from them, who knows, or like I say, that bit of misfortune, and it came and it arrived. And for 10 minutes there, you're thinking, this can't be how this game ends. It can't be how I won't go as far as say our title hopes end, but given the manner of the performance and the quality of the team that we're playing up against and the jeopardy and the fixtures that are coming up, you do start to wonder, is this it? Are these the points that really derail us? But thankfully, Alexis McAllister had other ideas, because he is a wonderful footballer and, quite frankly, an incredible human being. Because Liverpool, to our credit, went back on the front foot. We made some changes. Cody Gakpo came on and really influenced the game. I thought Salah went off, which was interesting. Hopefully just pre-planned. But Alexis McAllister, the ball breaks to him on the edge of the box, and he is an artist right now. He makes us tick. He's incredible. His defensive terrier-like stuff is marvellous. But what else he can do is he can hit a ball. And he hit a ball so sweet. The fella whacked it. And it flew in to top corner. It had bend on it, it had swaz, it had power, it was unstoppable. 2 keepers don't save it. Not a chance. It is some hit, and it got the Reds back in the lead. And did they love it? Allister, Darwin Nunez, etc., basically in the cop. Not even like row A, like row F or something like that. It was wonderful hit, honest to God. And yeah, it made us go again, and it kind of knocked the stuffing out of Sheffield United. Cody Gakpo had a couple more chances before he put the finishing touches on it. It was a wonderful whip cross. Gakpo found himself between the centre halves, took up a really smart position actually, and nodded it beyond the keeper, who hadn't had a very good night to be fair, but really good finish. And Gakpo deserved it, I will say, because he's had a lot of criticism recently, and rightfully so, because he's not been at it at all. But tonight, I thought he had a good impact from the bench, I really do. And Harvey Elliott was busy as well, as he always is. I thought Diaz had a good night without the end product that maybe you'd want, I'd say. But yeah, listen, it was far more straightforward than perhaps it should have been. Nothing's ever plain sailing in the Premier League, of course, but ultimately, job done. Back to the top of the league. 3 points are all that matters. It would have been nice to have sort of increased our goal difference, or rather shortened the gap to Arsenal ahead of us in that stake, but am I arsed? Not one bit. 3 points, up the Reds. Loads more content to do. Head to redmenplus.com, sign up as a captain, yearly subscriber, use the code RACE, half price. What's not to love about that? See you soon. Take it easy.